It's now time to see what's making headlines in the business and financial markets globally. Let's go around the world in 80 seconds. First, let's head to North Korea, where their controversial long-range rocket plummeted into the sea early this morning after flying for just over a minute. What did this mean for South Korea? Well, their stocks rose. Because today, Japan's defense minister Naoki Tanaka made that announcement. Further, the Bank of Korea decided to keep borrowing costs unchanged for the 10th consecutive month. Now, off to Johannesburg, South Africa, where the nation's national treasury is refusing to change its debt plans, regardless of an economic rebound. The South African government trimmed their budget deficit as they collected almost $94 billion more than forecast in the year through to the end of March. Director Lungiso Fuzili said, quote, "The economy is on more sure footing." And now to Madrid, where the Spanish bank borrowings from the European Central Bank have hit unprecedented levels. In fact, they jumped by almost 50% to $300 billion in March, according to a posting on the Bank of Spain's website. Now, just as the yields continue to climb in Europe, this is continuing to happen. And finally, we're off to Lima, Peru, where the country's central bank spent nearly $670 million in the currency market this week alone. That's the most in over 2 months, and it's because the nation is aiming to encourage more foreign investors. This comes just after inflows pushed the sol to its strongest level in the last 15 years. And that's what's happening around the world.
Okay, a couple of items that we're going to be looking at heading into next week. We've got on the economic front a couple of key growth indicators. Specifically, we've got retail sales on Monday. That's going to be key in terms of how the consumer is going and see if there is continued strength there, which we've seen in the latest same-store sales data. Also, we're going to get growth indicators from the industrial production number. That comes out on the 17th as well, so that's going to be important to take a look at. On the recovery front, we've got the U.S. existing home sales later in the week. Once again, we've got to continue to keep our eyes on housing because that is an indicator in terms of, is there a floor, is there a bottom, are the consumers getting their balance sheets, their home balance sheets back in order. On the earnings front, a couple of key bellwethers next week that we'll be reporting. We're going to start off with Citigroup, and the consensus number there is 98 cents. We'll continue to get the banks reporting their earnings as we got JP Morgan and Wells Fargo today, both beating expectations. We're also going to take a look at Intel. 50 cents is the number there, and Coca-Cola later on in the week. 87 cents is the consensus number. It looks as though the fundamentals are very much on track. They could get some good performance in their key regions, and the upside risk could be on the price mix front. So keep your eyes on all of those bellwethers next week. Well, I certainly think that today's take is, we continue to get economic data. The markets continue to move on the back of items from China as well as Europe once again. Andrew, what do you think?
I also think Google colored the market today. The market just did not like that news out of Google last night. And because sure as heck, China delivered some decent results, notwithstanding the headline number.
That's true. Earning expectations are very low, but I think that with back to stock picking, correlations are down in the market. You have stock pickers out there, and you need this earnings quarter to be good. And the economic data that's been really sloppy lately. Without that, we don't have a reparation in the market. And I'm not looking for huge growth out there. I just want it to stop being sloppy. And we need to see Europe. The LTR was clearly a bridge. What is at the end of that bridge? And that some of that's coming out next week.
Okay, Dana, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Have a great weekend. Have a great weekend, and thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you on Monday.
Imagine a car built entirely from ideas.